Today was a solid trading day overall, finishing up at 1.1 R, but it definitely wasn't the cleanest execution. And there are a couple important lessons to take away. All right, so let's hop into the two trades that I made today. First, we'll start with BATL. Now, this one did not have a fresh news catalyst. If we look at the news here, we can see the most recent news is from 6 days ago with the Middle East tensions. So when I saw this at first, I didn't feel the best about it, but there wasn't really much else to trade. It opened strong on the first 5-minute candle, and then switching over to the 1 minute is where I decided to take entry. This wick here represents the orb high for the first 5 minutes. Then it slightly breaks, and then on this next candle here, we have super strong volume with a super strong candle. Unfortunately, I did have to chase the entry. So instead of entering closer to the orb high, I ended up entering around 1407. Because of this, I decided to adjust my stop loss to that breaking candle. So after entering, we have 4 red candles making a pullback to the 9 EMA. Now, when I see this at first, that's not the momentum you want to see after a strong break like that. So pretty quickly, after it came back up above my entry point, I exited the position because my feeling about it was off in the beginning. And I just decided, you know what, I'm going to take the quick profit. I don't care if it keeps going up. I didn't feel good about this trade. And as you can see, it does proceed to not work out. So I ended up exiting. If we come here, we entered at 1403 and we exited at 14.19. So it did end up being about 0.2 R. And even though it was technically a green trade, my lesson and takeaway from this trade is unless there's a fresh news catalyst that morning, it's a no trade, because I don't want to be forcing B plus, C plus setups. I only want A plus. It's not worth the risk of taking a bad losing trade. For our second trade, I was watching ARTL this morning. This one did show up on my screener as a small cap stock, and it did have good news. Ignore this negative news because that's just the Dow falling. That's for every stock's going to say that. But we have positive news, positive news, positive, positive, positive. It's just loaded with positive news. So when I saw that this morning, I was like, yes, this is a good stock to watch. We're below VWAP, but not super below VWAP to the point where we open strong on the 5-minute candle. And if we break that orb high, we're also breaking VWAP. So far, that has been my A plus setup. If we break VWAP and orb high with high volume, that has been a good trade for me. So we zoom in on the 1 minute, which is what I was watching, and these wicks here are our 5-minute orb highs. Unfortunately, I did have to chase entry a little bit because I was preoccupied watching BATL, but we ripped through VWAP and orb high, and when I saw that with higher volume than every other candle, I was like, yes, like I'm entering this. This is what I wait for. So I ended up entering closer to 7.13. And again, I adjusted my stop below that breaking candle because I had to chase that entry a little bit. But then we quickly halted. So we halted on this next candle. And this happened to me yesterday. And yesterday worked out. But even though yesterday was a successful trading day, with all the halts, I made another new rule. If the stock I entered starts halting, then I want to exit it pretty quickly. So it opened and shot down but it made its way back up. So as it made its way back up, I sold half, and then it was just moving. I was like, this thing's gonna halt again. So I sold my full position, and I ended up exiting for an average of 0.9R. So we'll go to our P&L. We'll check out ARTL. So we made 53 hypothetical dollars because I am still paper trading, but here is a red day. I wasn't recording yet on this red day. Yesterday's successful day of 195, and then today we made a total of around $70. So I bought for an average fill price of 7.15, and then sold half, sold the rest, and it ended up filling for an average of, I think I got out at 7.55. So it was a rocky trading day. It was not as smooth as I would have liked. And even though both trades were green, there are still some lessons to take out of this to improve for future trading. So if there's no fresh catalyst, I will not be trading the stock. ARTL was A+ setup, fit it to a T, but once it started halting, I wanted to exit, and I do not regret my decision. It did end up going higher. Maybe I could have sold it for more, but ultimately now it is trading below VWAP. We have BATL and ARTL. We logged them, our entries, stops, then it has our exits. I guess it was 0.85R, not 0.9R, but they were both wins, technically, yes. Hit 1R, hit 2R, hit 3R, no. BATL really was the wise decision to leave, but the wisest decision was to never have entered the BATL trade in the first place. So today it did follow rules, but tomorrow that would be a rule break, because if you come over here to new rules, must have a fresh catalyst. But all in all, that's, still a successful trading day, because, I learned, but I also made money if it was real money. And our equity curve is really starting to reverse. And if I can keep doing what I'm doing with this edge, I see no reason, especially in this bear market, that this can't continue to go up steadily. And when the market's hot, well, it should just be easier. But learning in a cold market is the best time to learn, because if you can manage your risk and make profit when the market is cold, then that you can be consistent long term. But those are my 2 trades today. We do have some good lessons out of it today. Comment if you have any other takeaways, any other suggestions, and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll catch you next time.